Good morning. I hope everyone has been keeping healthy and safe. I wish we could all meet right now in a nice venue in London. However, as we know, it's not really possible. Nevertheless, I'm sure we will make the best out of our online event and make it a huge success. My name is Tomek Bugajski. I'm a vice president with Biotech, responsible for the EMEA region. And actually, I have been working in the insurance industry for the last 25 years. Initially started for a management consultancy company, then worked for a global Swiss-based insurer. And last 15 years, I have been with Biotech as a solution vendor. Today, I would like to talk about a very timely and interesting subject, however, with a little bit of a controversial spin to it. So we will talk about future of digital transformation and why we at Biotech think that the core system will not be the focus of that transformational journey. Let's jump right into the presentation and allow me to share the screen with you through this beautiful technology that we have here. And let's take the pulse of what actually insurance thinks in terms of its readiness, insurance industry in terms of its readiness for transformation. Well, 44% of executives actually think that most existing insurers will not survive in their current form. And the next piece of statistics probably explains a bit this gloomy forecast, because as many as 80% of clients, consumers, are open to buying insurance from new entrants. And with new entrants, I'm not really talking about new insurance companies coming to the market. No, we're talking about existing players in other industries. We're talking about Amazons, Googles, Facebooks, and Teslas of this world. Now, we also think we're a bit behind our peers from the financial services sectors, mainly banking and asset management. And probably the main reason explaining that is that in almost 70% of cases, we think that core systems or our legacy applications severely limit our ability to innovate. So clearly, transformation is needed, no doubt about it, and it has always been there. However, the way how it's done needs to change because it sure has not worked properly so far. Very often, the main result of such transformation was a new legacy, which then would lead to the need of yet another transformation program, and so on and over again. But how did we end up here? Well, let's briefly look at how insurance industry evolved over the last 30, 40 years. As such, insurance in itself has not really changed much. It's still all about the risk transfer. However, just about anything else around insurance has changed. The way it is designed, packaged, sold, and consumed, and especially the changes have been very permeating in the last 10 years or so. So initially, we just had, of course, insurance company, an agent broker, and a relatively simple system, back office to support the operations. Then we evolved into landscape with more agents, brokers, banks started selling insurance, also aggregators were showing up. And we had to do something about our core system platforms. So our typical knee-jerk reaction to that was, well, if our current applications cannot support what is needed, we need to either enhance them, build a new module, or just go out and buy and implement a new core system. Well, either way, the result of that was a bigger core system, or more of those core systems with more functions, bells and whistles, more workflows, more interfaces and features. And as the industry continued to evolve, with more explosion of channels, really the front office in terms of business models, platforms, ecosystems, this has been truly exploding last 5-10 years. And of course, we continued our traditional response from the system point of view, and we ended up having relatively fat, difficult to steer, and expensive to maintain very complex core systems supporting our business. Well, these core systems, they were actually designed and engineered for resilience and stability. And the main goal for them was to support traditional core processes of insurance company. And I'll just quote Celent here. The core processes are defined as issuing a policy, collecting premium, settling a claim, etc. But nowadays, we need a different solution. We need a platform which supports actually and reflects how the insurance industry has evolved over the last 20 years. And this industry is becoming more and more about being connected. Let's quickly look at connected insurance. Well, insurance is becoming connected. It's actually embedded into other goods and services, as well as into our daily chores. So we do travel, we do shopping, gaming, you name it. And actually a lot of these players from other industries, they have a very good customer base, and they are looking into alternative ways how they can monetize their customer base. And insurance becomes a very good candidate for that monetization. And this offers for us, for carriers, a very good growth potential if we approach it properly, of course. So we see a clear move away from flat blanket type of coverage for a predefined period to coverage available on an as needed basis when and where it is actually needed and where it is actually consumed. So the whole spectrum of usage-based insurance products is a very good example for that. And because of this contextuality, insurance is actually becoming more and more like banking. I mean, transactional, and moving away from traditional process-driven way of doing insurance. And as we know, transactional nature of dealing with customers actually increases the stickiness of the customer base. And when done properly, it also increases the overall satisfaction of our clients, and ultimately the amount of money spent by customers on our services. And these consumers at the same time are expecting same degree of experience from us and convenience from us as they get when they deal with other e-commerce and social media sites. And again, this is a great opportunity for those who can actually master it. It allows us to move away from this price-based, aggregator-driven commodity type of thinking to more of the convenience. And as we know, we are willing to pay more for convenience. So clearly, what counts today are not the core processes of the past. What truly counts today, and will count even more tomorrow, are things like connectivity, speed, and convenience. I think this is all well said and done, but we do face certain challenges in terms of how to actually achieve that. And I think, complex products, processes, legacy applications, all of that is there. And there's additional dimensions that actually throw new challenges at us. And we call those massive V's. There's 3 V's. There is variation, velocity, and volume, which are actually permeating the insurance industry. Let's quickly look at each of these 3 V's in a bit more detail. Variation. We are in an industry now where we want to provide any product through any channel to any client at any speed. So inadvertently, this will result in hundreds of products, thousands of channels, and millions of customers. If you think about it, it's not just agent brokers, aggregator banks. It can be a blogger writing something about pet food, and there can be pet insurance embedded into the blog of him or her. So massive customization. Then there's velocity. As we know, all of that needs to go very fast. The expectations are amazing. And we also need, with our sales and operation agility, we need to be there, ready to capture those opportunities. Finally, volume, massive volumes. And this is really a result of the previous 2 V's. If we are offering these hundreds of products, thousands of channels, and we do it fast, we end up creating huge volumes. And we're talking really big volumes here. Tens of millions of policies, hundreds of millions of transactions, and billions of API calls. And really, we're not only talking in terms of policies, quotations, claims, No, we are actually talking in terms of transactions. There will be lots of the API calls coming from different systems hitting our platform to get the data, to exchange data, to provide new data. So why are these 3 V's important? Well, mastering them, mastering massive variation, velocity, and volume will finally make it possible to get where we always wanted to be in the first place. We really need to stop dreaming about those things and start acting and doing them. How about launching a new channel in 3 days? And what if we could bring a new product out to the market in 2 days and a new service offering in 1 hour to our clients? What if we could build new core system in 12 months? I'm just kidding, getting carried away a little bit. But how do we get there? How do we reach those goals? Well, there's a way, and sometimes to simplify things, you first need to make them a bit more complex. Let's go through a simple example. Let's imagine for a while that our son, grandson, nephew wants to actually become a policeman when he grows up. And for the time being, he's happy to play with a police car. So we go out, we buy a toy like this one here for him. And he plays around with that for a few days, but then he gets bored after a while. And now he fancies becoming actually a fireman to save people from burning houses. So what do? We go out and we buy a fireman truck. And again, he plays for a few days with the truck. He gets bored. And now he wants to become a doctor when he grows up, help patients, save the world. And guess what? We buy that one too. Well, we end up having 3 toys, sort of each of them different size, different look and feel, and they all together take up a lot of storage space. So it's not really an optimal and best result, is it? And doesn't it sound familiar? Well, I need to very quickly launch a new line of business, but my current core system doesn't support it. Well, why don't I go? No problem. I take another one, implement it. Here we go. Well, we've been there. We've seen it before, I think. So instead of doing it that traditionally, why don't we instead think differently and break down those toys into basic parts and elements which are neatly stored and which can then be reused to recreate any of the cars or toys that we want to play with. So we can make a police car out of that. We can make fire brigade car, of course. We'll make an ambulance. We'll make much more. We'll make a school bus. We will make a bike. We can actually reuse and share these components. We can share our building blocks, our Lego blocks with the parents so that their kids, together with our son, can play together and build even more toys and even more versatile toys. Can we do something similar with our applications in our industry? It turns out that we can. And actually, this is where the concept of the insurance middle office comes in very handy. Middle office is actually a very simple concept. However, at the same time, it's a huge differentiator because most of the current systems are sold and implemented as sort of combination of front and back office. It's like end-to-end police car or ambulance or fire truck in our Lego example. But as we've seen, that doesn't quite work because the front office is actually the part of our landscape which needs to connect to the new ecosystems, to the apps, to the portals, to InsureTech application, this whole thing which is moving extremely fast. And at the same time, our back office that we said, it was designed for stability, for enterprise grade type of application, and it's really not going as fast as it should. That's good. Great. Our legacy turtle has finally reached the destination, so we can move on to the next slide. So to reduce the tension between the fast-moving front office and the slow-moving back office, we introduced the middle layer, insurance middle office. And it's actually nothing new. It's not rocket science. Banks have been doing it for the last 20 or 30 years now. So it's really important concept, but why do we think it's significant also for our industry? Well, middle office allows us to actually rethink and redesign the way we want to engage with our players in the industry, our own industry, as well as, and perhaps even more importantly, players from other industries. Remember, we said it's all about connectivity. So let's now quickly look at what actually middle office comprises of. Well, it's based on microservice architecture, which allows efficient and fast reusability and creation of new products and services. And these products and services can be tailored to specific needs of our distribution channels, clients, and partners. This is a bit similar to the Lego blocks, building blocks, which can be easily rearranged. Now, middle office also follows the open API framework and provides the flexibility and simplicity for orchestrating these services and also connecting and integrating with the external partners. So again, the front office, the front end, the speed of integration and enabling these apps and portals and insurtechs is critical here. And that's what the API layer supports us to do. So this is a bit like the round studs and hollow spaces in our Lego blocks, allowing for them to stick together easily, to interlock. Now, when you take the microservice and API framework with their deep and comprehensive libraries of insurance products and services covering, the entire policy lifecycle and claim lifecycle, and you also add to this all of the external services and APIs, which are available from other partners. We don't have to reinvent them. We don't have time and resources to do it. We just get the best available from the market. So we're talking about services like artificial intelligence using chatbots, helping clients choose and buy the right coverage, natural language processing, data mining, IoT devices and data which they broadcast and that can be utilized for real-time fraud detection, usage-based insurance cases, as we said before, real-time cyber exposure assessment, and so on and so forth. So you have these products and services, your own ones, you combine them with the third-party ones available in the marketplace, and then you deploy it natively on cloud, which gives you another layer of scalability and cost variability that you need to manage large volumes, that you need to manage those three massive fees in general. And then you have a solid and very future-proof platform to respond to the challenges and outsmart your competitors. Of course, there's also a need to push the data from middle office downstream to the backend, which then becomes more of a system of record rather than transactional platform, and hence this integration layer here. So again, insurance middle office, very simple concept, very powerful at the same time. 5 key points. Very rich and comprehensive libraries of insurance products and services based on a microservice compliant platform, which promotes reusability and sharing, coupled with the open API platform, which allows us to actually externalize and publish products and services to those who actually consume and use them. The DevOps, the way how we can utilize the product factory, the service factory in our middle office to actually orchestrate those services and APIs, potentially also to enhance them if we choose to do so. And finally, all of this available natively on a cloud. How is it helping us? Why is this important? Why do we talk about it? Well, there are 3 reasons at least why we think this is important. It deals with legacy problem. We don't need to rip and replace our existing core systems. Insurers can simply use the middle office layer to provide additional capabilities and connectivity to their existing technology stack. Middle office also addresses cost issue because it is typically offered on a subscription-based model, and it's a cloud-native solution. So these two together give you actually cost base, which becomes largely variable and depends on the actual usage and also on the business success of how much volumes you drive through this plan. And the third point, it creates real opportunity. And this is really the big one, because now insurers can have unlimited new opportunities to mix and match the latest technology, InsurTech advancement, all of these fancy things. And it's not only about what we have today, even more importantly, because of the open nature of middle office and the ability to also integrate with third-party services and APIs, it's a future-proof platform. Whatever new technology or a fancy thing will be there, on top of the current ones, typically OCRs, AIs, blockchains, RPAs, we talked about all of them, it is truly future-proof. So the 3 points together, they really form a very powerful combination. In short, middle office takes away the legacy problem, it solves the cost issue, and also provides you endless opportunities to keep the platform future-proof way and long into the future. I would like to finish the session by borrowing a quote from Albert Einstein, where he defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again while hoping for a different outcome. And I would actually like to paraphrase that in a more positive way and ask every one of us to embrace this concept of insurance middle office in our ongoing transformation program or the future one that we're just about to launch. Because if we do so, I truly believe that it can help us jumpstart us and the entire program towards the digital future immediately. It can also make sure that we remain relevant for our industry and our clients as well as partners. And finally, and probably even more importantly, it can help us to avoid creating new legacy, and as such, make this world a better place to live and work in, one middle office at a time. I would like to thank you for your attention and now open the session for clarifications or any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.